Okay, then there's the Georgia RICO case. 18 other people are indicted, including Rudy Giuliani, who, funny enough, used the RICO on a lot of mob guys.
He did. I defended a lot of those cases. I was involved on the other side of those cases.
Right. So it's actually kind of funny that he's being hit with a RICO himself. This is a 41 count indictment. And you said this indictment itself is very, very weak when you use RICO and conspiracy.
Right.
You're stretching and pushing and pulling. Right. So this particular case, you think is a weak case?
I think it's a weak case. First of all, it starts with a blatant lie. The prosecutor gets on television, looks the American public in the eye around midnight, and says, I'm going to try to bring this trial in 6 months. She was lying through her teeth. She knew full well she could never bring this trial to fruition within 6 months. It was a deliberate, willful, calculated, malicious lie. It's a heck of a way to start a case where you're trying to convict somebody of lying by yourself lying. There's just no excuse for that. This trial will not be taking place within 6 months. When you have 19 defendants, 50 lawyers, 95-page indictment, hundreds of thousands of pages of documentation. If this case comes to trial within a year, it will be a miracle. She has a case right now in her county in which they're still picking jurors. It's going to take weeks to pick jurors in this case. She was just lying. And, as Oliver Wendell Holmes once said, when you're dealing with the government, it's expected that you will turn square corners. And Justice Gorsuch then said, and when the government deals with you, it's expected they will turn square corners. She was turning a sharp corner, not a square corner, lying to the public, and I have no faith in her ability to give these 19 defendants a fair trial.
Well, we talk about smoking guns. Now, the phone call that Trump made to Georgia Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger.
Right.
You don't think that was somewhat of a smoking gun when Trump said on that phone call he needs to find 11,780 votes?
I think it was a smoking gun of innocence. If I'm the defense attorney, I start the case with that tape. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, listen to what Donald Trump actually said. He said, I need to find then the number of votes to win. He didn't say make up, invent, concoct. He said find. Find has a dictionary meaning. It means they're there. They're there to be found. I can tell you, I was a lawyer in the Bush versus Gore litigation. I represented the voters of Palm Beach County on the butterfly ballot. Do you know how many times Gore lawyers said, we got to find 600 votes? We got to find 600 votes. They're there. We got to find them. That's the most exculpatory piece of evidence there is. So yeah, a smoking gun, but a smoking gun of innocence, not a smoking gun of guilt.
Well, the RICO case in Georgia is a state case, not a federal case. So if by chance Trump becomes president again, he won't be able to stop this.
That's right. That's right. I don't think he's really going to be able to stop even the federal cases. There are all kinds of questions about whether a president can pardon himself, whether a president can call off a case against himself. There were some discussions of that in the framing of the Constitution. There's no definitive answer to that, but boy, he would have to pay a very high political price if he did that. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think he's going to be elected. The only way he gets elected, I believe, is if there's a strong third-party candidate who takes votes away from the Democrat, much the way Ralph Nader took votes away from, I believe, from Al Gore in Florida. I think if Ralph Nader hadn't run, George Bush would have been defeated and Al Gore would have been the president. That could happen here, but absent the third party, I don't see how Trump gets above the 45, 46% numbers. You don't have to get much higher than that with the Electoral College. After all, he won in 2016 with a minority of votes, as George Bush won in 2000 with a minority of votes, but I just don't think it's going to happen. But I'm not a political expert, so I'm not going to count on that. My predictions about the law have all turned out to be correct. My predictions on the four indictments were correct. my prediction on the fact that the judge would not accept the Hunter Biden plea bargain was correct. And in my book, Get Trump, I make a series of predictions about what would happen. This book was published a couple of months ago, and every one of the predictions I made in this book has turned out true. It's not because I'm smarter than the CNN people. The CNN predictions are all wrong all the time. Why? Because CNN experts are engaging in wishful thinking and self-fulfilling prophecies. They're not basing their predictions on any experience. Most of them don't have any experience or any valid experience. They're basing it on what they want to happen. I'm not any smarter. I'm just more honest. And that is, I base my predictions not on what I want to happen, but what I believe will happen based on my 60 years of experience. That's why they've turned out to be true. That's why Mark Levin called me the Nostradamus of the legal profession, because my predictions have turned out to be accurate.